Yo, what's going on, everyone? What's going on? Night before the big fight tomorrow. Just wanted to jump on live real quick. Not a long live video tonight. All right, just give you my final thoughts. I was able to watch the weigh-in earlier this morning. Okay. And, it was pretty much what we've been seeing between the two. I mean, these guys have a lot of respect for each other. They are definitely one of the most not only like respected fighters in the heavyweight division, but they always show a lot of respect for their opponents, you know. So I just wanted to jump on here real quick and give you my final thoughts, for those that haven't seen the breakdown or haven't heard me talk about this fight, or just wanted to chop it up with a few of you, whoever jumps in the comments and stuff, talk about it last minute. What's up, everyone that's coming in and everyone that's checking in? Make sure you hit the like button. If it's your first time, definitely subscribe to the channel and share the video if you could. A little news. What's up, Alex, Arthur, Flex? What's going on? All right. But yeah, before I caught some Z's, I wanted to jump on live with y'all real quick. What's up, Evil? What's going on? What's up, Kevin Frey? What's happening? John Simmons, St. Cruisin, Rocket Andretti. What's up? I like that name, Rocket Andretti. I think that's pretty dope. Jermaine Bean, what's happening? Arlette, what's up? What's up? B-Doy 34, what's happening? Arlette, thank you. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, that was I know it was kind of left field to just go in and talking about Clarissa Shields, but I was just reading comments and I was just kind of disgusted with the comments that I've been seeing, and it's just not recently. It's been a while where it's like, you don't have to like Clarissa. People don't really have to like her, like, again, like I said in that video, I don't always agree with what she says, but people seem to dislike her for the same reasons why people loved other fighters. Ali was calling himself the greatest before he proved that he was the greatest. People said that she's not humble or she looks like this or that. It's just wrong, man. Like, people, before I go into the heavyweight thing, people making it seem as if she's fought her way to fight Savannah Marshall, and it's not like that. Savannah Marshall has been doing what she has to do in order to get to Clarissa. It's the other way around. And I think people need to know that. Like, let's not lose track here. Clarissa is the one that's collecting the belts. They have the same amount of professional fights, but people make it seem like Clarissa is chasing her when it's the other way around. And I needed to address that. Somebody needs to address that, not coming from a fanboy point of view, though, like coming from this is logic here. You don't have to like her, but you got to respect what she's done in the ring. You don't even have to like her at all. You got to respect what she's doing. And people are being very ultra disrespectful to her. And I don't think that's right. You don't like her because she's not humble. Many fighters are not humble. All right. A lot of fighters are not humble. So what? She doesn't have to be humble. Why do certain fighters need to be humble? What does she need to go around and say that Katie Taylor is better than her for you to like her? Like, what's going on? What are we talking about here? All right. But anyway, let's keep it going. AJ Usyk weigh in earlier. All I got to really say is, I mean, they both came in the weights that I kind of predicted. Usyk was barely over 120. I think he was 221. AJ was 240, which is right where I had him at. I know he looks real like slim, like leading up to these fights and stuff, but he can't be too slim. He can't be too slim. And I knew the night of the weigh-in, I knew he was going to weigh around what we've been seeing him at. I said in between 237 and 243. So he hit dead smack in the middle of that. And I think he's at where he needs to be at. He looks confident. Both of them look good. You know what I'm saying? They both feel good. I look like they feel good. They both look confident, and I think they should both be. Usyk is a madman anyway. He's crazy. He don't care, man. He's a crazy dude. Like, I rock with Usyk. I really do. I like him. I like him as a fighter, but I like his personality too. You know, like I said to y'all the other day, I said, he's like a cool villain, you know? Like he's respectful and everything, but he's confident in himself. Like he believes in his skill set. He thinks he could beat everybody. I like guys like that. And that goes to say when it comes to being humble. Usyk really believes in his mind that he could beat anyone, and he's chasing the best. You know, and AJ, you know, AJ's always been respectful and classy and stuff. But I feel like AJ now, he's at a point like he's fully aware of who he is. You know, the interviews are different from him. I know people don't see it, but I sense a little bit of cockiness in him, and I actually like it. You know, I like when fighters are humble. There's a time and a place to be humble, but there's a time and a place to be like, yo, I'm that dude. Nobody could beat me. I'm the best. I like that. I like that attitude. You can be confident and still be classy. You don't always have to be humble. Oh, well, I think, you know, I'm just trying to be the best that I can be and chase all these other fighters. I don't want fighters to be like that. We as boxing fans, historically, we're not attracted to not attracted like physically, but you know, we're not attracted to fighters that talk or soft spoken. And no, we want fighters to be confident and talk a little bit. They don't have to get reckless, but we want to see a little bit of that. And I see a little bit in both, you know. They're really respectful of each other, but you can tell the way they look at each other, like they're both looking at each other like, I got this. And I like the confidence from both. But the respect is there too, you know. But yo, the way I see the fight, you know, if you didn't see the breakdown, you know, I think AJ is gonna pull it off. You know, I don't know how he's gonna pull it off. You know, I've been leaning a little bit towards the decision. I know a lot of people, I think in general, a lot of people feel that if AJ wins, it's gonna be by knockout. You know, a lot of people feel like if Usyk win, he's gonna win by outboxing him, which is cool. Me personally, I think the fight could go any way. Like, I think both of them are capable of possibly stopping the other. I think AJ has more of a chance of stopping Usyk than Usyk stopping him. But Usyk has a way of stopping opponents by overwhelming them. You know, he don't have that one punch KO power. AJ can change the fight with one punch at any point in the fight. But I can see AJ winning on points too. You know, because if you could neutralize your opponent, like Usyk, for example, we know he boxes well, but we know that he likes to be out of rhythm. You know, he has a pace that he wants to fight. And like I said plenty of times, in the second half of this fight, when he's figured you all the way out, that's when he starts putting on the pressure. But if Joshua is just a little too dangerous, like Joshua lands some shots that make Usyk not really willing to engage, that can totally throw Usyk's rhythm off, you know, and he won't press the fight like that, like he normally does against everybody else. All right. They're both really good fighters, and I think Usyk is still slightly more skilled, all right, and more experienced overall. But AJ size and his power is the neutralizer there. And also his experience as well as being a heavyweight, fighting guys with heavier punches. You know, I would have to say, you know, AJ's probably fought a whole long list of guys that punch harder than Usyk. And he's caught some big shots from him. You know, Usyk is a kind of guy, like I expect, like if he were to stop AJ, it'll be off accumulation, you know. I don't think he can stop AJ with just one shot. Whereas AJ, I think even if he's down on points or even if he's getting outboxed a little bit, he could change his fight around with one shot, you know? So I know Usyk is a boxing genius. I'm not taking that away. I don't think anybody's disagreeing with that. And, you know, just based on the comments that I read, even the people that disagree with me, I think even the people that have Usyk winning or you have AJ winning, I like the energy for this fight. It's not like no real extreme fanboy talk. You know, I get some comments here and there that's like a little reckless, but for the most part, I'm not getting no crazy fanboy talk, like where people are just talking ridiculous outside of a few comments, of course. But I think people that are into this fight have some sort of respect. You know, you might not love AJ, you might not really, you know, but there's some sense of danger there. And I think people that like Usyk generally, like, I've been doing videos on Usyk for a while, and I don't really feel that his fan base is like the most extreme fan base. You know, I don't really feel that way for them. Like, they're kind of all right. Like, outside of some comments, they're kind of all right. Like, I like Usyk myself, so I don't really get no hate from them. But I don't really get much like negative energy from them neither. Like, you know, he's proven what he's proven, and no matter where you're from, you know, no matter where, like, I think at most point, like, I think most fans had Usyk in their top 5 pound for pound list before he moved up to heavyweight. You know, I think most people that know the sport, that know how he fights, respect his game. Like, his game is legit. Like, nobody's really hating on him like that. You know, I mean, there are people out there, but it's not extreme. So I like the energy to fight overall, you know, and I'm excited because I feel like us boxing fans really needed a fight. Like, we really needed something good, because the way boxing's been lately has been rough. And the fact that neither one of these fighters had COVID, or no one got injured, or no one got pulled out for no reason, they didn't have to reschedule it. I love the fact that we're actually getting this fight without no delays, the way that you know, most fighters have been doing lately. You know, I was just making a video. I was just talking about Ryan Garcia, mental illness. I was talking about Teofimo Lopez and his struggles with Trilla. You know, I've been talking about all these fights getting canceled left and right. Joe Smith Jr., he had to get rescheduled. A lot of fights are not going down. I'm glad that we get this Joshua Usyk fight right away, on time, you know, and this is a legit fight. And I said before, you know, I have AJ winning, but if AJ loses tomorrow, it's a respectable loss. It's not an upset. Like, it is an upset, but it's not like you got exposed type of upset, you know, where the Andy Ruiz loss was a huge upset. Whereas this is like, damn, AJ, that Usyk is really that good. Like, if Usyk wins tomorrow, it's like, damn, this dude is great. Like, we got to start talking about, he's one of the top generational greats up there if he beats AJ tomorrow, you know? And then we got to still wait and see what happens with Wilder and Fury too. So much respect, but I think it could go many ways, you know? I don't know what approach Usyk is going to take. I think it's, like I said, I think it's an uphill battle for him, because he's fighting the bigger man who's also skilled. And I just feel like he has to work harder in order to pull off this win. I don't think this fight is going to go as smooth as a lot of his other fights. I know Derek Chisora was tough. And I actually read some comments from people. I didn't know that there's a decent amount of people out there that believe that Chisora did enough to win that fight. All right. Now, I'm not going to be saying names. I know I've heard it in interviews. I know I heard it, you know, I read it in comments. But there's some people out there that believe Chisora did enough to win. You know, I was watching the highlights of that the other day. And I see, you know, what people might like about what Chisora was doing. Is just as far as him being aggressive and just being rough and just hitting Usyk all over, you know, and just being aggressive. So I get what people are coming from with that. I personally don't think he did enough to win. I think Usyk did better. In fact, Usyk also rocked him a couple times in that fight. But you know, Chisora, what he brought to that fight is just something that AJ won't bring. You know, and I think that at some point in this fight, as much of a chess match as this fight is going to be, I think at some point in this fight, both fighters need to be aggressive at some point. I don't know if it's going to be early. I don't know if it's going to be later. I don't know when that point is going to be. But I see multiple adjustments being made for this fight at some point, you know, from both. And both are capable of doing it. I think Joshua's style is a little bit more traditional. I think Usyk is a more, you know, his style is It's just nice. It's just a little bit more unorthodox. Let me say that. But they're both capable of adjusting. You know, um, the thing is with this fight, you only got 12 rounds, and neither can really afford to give too many rounds away. One thing I brought up in a breakdown too, the Southpaw thing. How much would that be a factor in this fight? I don't feel like people are talking enough about it. I've heard a good amount of breakdowns of this fight, and a lot of people are not really bringing up that factor of the Southpaw thing. And what I mean by that is that AJ don't really have much experience in fighting Southpaws professionally. He's only fought one in Charles Martin, who's nowhere near on Usyk level. And then, you know, he fought a Southpaw when he won in the Olympics, in the Olympic finals. Those are his only two fights that I really know of him fighting Southpaws. Now, I know he's prepared. I know he's been sparring probably with some of the best out there. You know, I know he's even been sparring with cruiserweight, smaller guys. But Usyk definitely got the experience in on that. But again, he has the experience, but AJ's still also highly skilled and very powerful and bigger and a longer reach. And he knows how to fight tall, and he knows how to fight shorter guys. All right. Again, Usyk brings different dangers than Povetkin. But Povetkin, I felt like Povetkin, the danger there, the greater danger there was I thought AJ had more of a chance of getting knocked out in that fight. And B, I just think Povetkin is better fighting low and changing levels than Usyk. Usyk is a master at changing directions. All right. Povetkin is a master at changing levels. All right. And getting low and fighting taller guys. That's the difference between the two. What I like about this fight too is that the people that like to discredit AJ, they say that, you know, guys like Povetkin was too old. They say Klitschko was too old. You know, he was coming off a layoff and a loss to Tyson Fury. I like the fact that they can't use that excuse here. So if AJ is to win, of course, they'll use the excuse that, well, Usyk didn't prove himself as a heavyweight. People will say that and discredit him anyway, because that's what people do. But at least he's fighting Usyk while he's still, yes, he's pushing close to his mid-30s. You know, he's still on top of his game. And he's still been active. And, you know, yeah, he's a smaller man. Yes, he hasn't proven himself as a heavyweight. But he's fighting someone that is not old. And most people feel that Usyk is the more skilled fighter between the two, you know. I love this fight. I love it, man. Let me see what some of y'all say. Karma, what's up? AJ didn't really have a problem with I walk this earth like a god. You know, I think like once a year, I think I always go back to that interview and just watch it because I think that was probably, I know Charles Martin hasn't accomplished much or anything like that, and he didn't put up much of a fight. It's actually AJ's, it's probably like at the elite level, it's probably AJ's easiest fight. It's still, I don't think I'm going to remember anything else more than like what Charles Martin said to AJ. Like as far as talking, I don't think I'm going to remember any other line that was said towards AJ but that. Like, I walk this earth like a god. Like when he said that, I'm not going to lie. Even though I had AJ winning that fight, I felt like, I don't know, man, maybe Charles Martin, man, maybe I'm sleeping on him. Because when you say something like that, it's like, damn, it made me like, shit, is Charles Martin better than what I think he is? Is he gonna pull this off? And then he went in there and just got hit by the same two shots and then got stopped. But yeah, that was funny, man. But Charles Martin is not Usyk, you know. and Charles Martin Ding with Usyk. Yeah, Arlette, that was a classic line, right? Gor Gorguraga says Usyk's footwork is great, but his offense isn't great at heavyweight. Yeah, I mean, doesn't have much pop there, but can still land at will. So when we say it's not great, I mean, might not have the same explosiveness as he did at Cruiser because he is fighting bigger guys, so he has to be a lot more cautious. But I still think, he lands the shots, definitely. Yeah, I love this fight, man. I love it. But yeah, you got to take that into account, the Southpaw thing. I think AJ's gonna pull it off. We'll see tomorrow, Usyk needs to be chin checked. Yeah, we gotta just wait and see. We gotta wait and see what happens. I have AJ, Young Drew. I have AJ. I think AJ's gonna pull it off. I think it's gonna be a decision window. I don't think he's gonna knock him out. Another thing with like Usyk, whenever he does get caught with a good shot, I don't see guys landing combinations on him much. I seen Breedis land some nice combinations, but that's just about it. Usyk usually when he gets tagged with a good shot, he's real slippery, so he'll even like duck or guard up and move out of danger. He has great legs. And if AJ is to knock him out, I think he needs to land something devastating like the uppercut he landed against Klitschko. I think it needs to be a huge shot in order to like get Usyk out of there and then follow up with something else heavy. I think Usyk normally when he gets tagged with anything, he kind of like moves right out of there, no matter where he's at, even if he's on the ropes, he knows how to get out of danger pretty well, and he's shown to be a pretty damn good, has a pretty good chin. Seems to be pretty durable, but this is heavyweight again, and this is AJ, and this is one of the biggest punchers in the heavyweight division, But yeah, I'm really excited. Josh says, I'm super excited for this fight, Wave. Looking forward to watching the fight and listening to your live. Yeah, I should definitely be here tomorrow. Just not sure if I'm going to cover the entire card. Hopefully I can get here on time, at least a couple of fights before the main event. So definitely check out for me. If anything comes up, I'll definitely alert you guys and in the community part of the channel. But yeah, I should definitely be here live tomorrow. All right. What else you guys saying? Gore says if Chichor and Chaz can catch Usyk with jabs, straight rights, hooks, and body shots, AJ will too. Yeah, I mean, people, this is boxing at the end of the day. People are going to land shots. It is what it is. Usyk is a good defender. I think he doesn't get credit for the amount of shots he parries in his fights too. I think a lot of shots don't actually land clean. All right. He does get hit though. I don't think he has the greatest head movement. I think, like I said before, I think he moves his upper body well. I think he moves his feet well. I think he parries shots pretty well. And I think he knows this. I think he knows how to sense when the danger is coming. But he does get hit, and I think if he gets hit with the shots, the right hands that Tony Bellew was landing, I don't think he's going to be able to take too many of them. If he feels one or two of them, that's going to make him back off a little bit. That might disrupt his offense a little bit, plus AJ's not stationary. I think I know we like to talk about how well Usyk moves. I think we sleep on AJ. Like AJ is not a stationary flat-footed fighter, he could move pretty well himself, especially this lighter version of himself. Okay. Again, at the end of the day, Usyk might have greater skills, but it's not far greater, and the neutralizer is the size difference, the power difference, the division difference. So as far as who wins, and as far as what happens after this fight, You know, if AJ wins, it's going to be another one of his greatest victories on his resume. Definitely top 3 wherever you have it. You know, him, Povetkin, and Klitschko, in my opinion, are the top 3. If he wins, and you know, I guess he's gonna have to wait and see what happens with Fury and Wilder. Um, Fury is most likely gonna have to fight, you know, or Wilder or whoever wins that fight is most likely going to be forced to fight in Dillian White if White is to beat Atawalin. Okay. So we're probably not going to get an undisputed fight right away unless they pay Dillian a step aside or something like that. But we just have to wait and see what happens with Wilder and Fury, you know. But I'm seeing AJ having another fight in between, maybe do another mandatory. I know he has a WBA title too. He just did his IBF mandatory. He's doing his WBO now with Usyk, and he'll have to do, maybe he'll do a WBA mandatory out of the way. Maybe he knocks out of the way. I don't know. That's if he's not going to fight the winner of Fury and Wilder. Usyk, like I said, if he is going to win this fight, we have to put him in that conversation as far as being one of the generational greats. I mean, he's probably already in that conversation. You know, I mean, he had an amazing undisputed run. Okay. He came pro, fought the elite at cruiser, won the tournament, and became undisputed. All right. And then at the very end of it, beat Tony Bellew on his way up at a time when Tony was having a good run. So beating AJ would be huge for him, you know, and depending on how he beats AJ, you know, they obviously would have a rematch. You know, there is a rematch clause for this fight. So just like they said in the press conference, I think his manager or someone from his corner or his side or his team said that he's expecting a rematch and to be back here, you know, for the rematch, basically insinuating that Usyk is going to win this one. Callum Smith is going to be fighting tomorrow on that card, Apollo. All right. He's going to be fighting on that card tomorrow against a pretty respectable Lennon Castillo. I think that's going to be a good, respectable win if he is to pull it off. All right. All AJ's fights are mandatory. All Fury's fights are warm-ups. That's what Will said, not me. That's what Will says. Will says all AJ's fights are mandatory. All Fury's fights are warm-ups. I don't want to say all, but all those fights in between the tough ones are definitely warm-ups for him. Hey, what's up, Marvin? Thank you for the donation. Really appreciate it. AJ already in the interview said his next fight won't be Wilder if Wilder wins. Yeah, well, Wilder already has, or the WBC, the winner of the WBC title has obligations anyway, you know. I really do want Dillian White, you know, as much as I want undisputed, I do want Dillian White to get a shot, you know, against the winner. You know, I do. As badly as I want undisputed, and that is the priority for me. I just want Dillian White to get a shot if he wins. All right. But Arnold Wallen won't be an easy fight for him. I think it's a fight he will win, but it won't be an easy fight for him. Lawrence Okoli is fighting tonight or tomorrow for you. Tomorrow for us. Tonight for you, wherever you are. Jorge, I think I agree with you. I said the same thing when I watched the weigh-in. Jorge says I thought Callum was going to be more shredded at the weight, but for some reason he still looked pretty scrawny to me. Yeah, I thought the same thing. I swear to God, I thought the exact same thing as I watched the weigh-in and watched him walk away. He still looked really, really skinny at 175. You know, I mean, depending on how well his career goes, he's probably going to definitely be a cruiserweight pretty soon. You know, I think he's just, making a pit stop at 175. I don't think he's going to be at 175 too long, you know. So he's a big dude, even at 175. He was supersized at 168, but at 175, you know, he's going to be, he's still going to be big, you know. He am Dion Boxing, Harlem here, What up, Wave? What's going on, man? Be safe out there for sure. It's been a wild summer out here, man. Be safe. That's all I gotta say. Aaron says, I remember when I lived in Harlem. Cool. Where in Harlem? Let me know in the comments what part of Harlem you was in. All right, so let me know in the comments. Everyone that's here, who do you guys got winning tomorrow? Let me know. And by KO or decision, who you guys got winning? I meant to put up a poll. I actually did a poll before, but I wanted to put up another poll to see what the majority of you guys are picking. Who do you guys got, AJ or Usyk? KO or decision? Let me know. Let me know. Arlette, yeah, Harlem. It's a lot of Harlem in the building. Also, there's a possibility for a draw. If by chance Usyk does outbox AJ and it does go to a decision, but it's very competitive. If it's very competitive to a point where 8-4, 7-5 Usyk, in most people's eyes, I could see it being scored a draw. I could see it, especially the way boxing's been lately. So you never know, especially if you're thinking one person is, especially if you're thinking that this fight is going to go to a decision like myself. Clarence Peter says, I feel an upset wave. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It's not that big of an upset to me if he is the window. But I think a draw is definitely a possibility in this fight. Yeah. Okay. What else you guys saying? Oh, Aaron was on 142nd. Okay. I'll tell y'all where I live at when I move. Harlem is way too small. Way too small. But when I move, I'll let you know what block I'm on. Carmen says, input in my 117, 110 scorecard now. Yeah, I was going to say that, but I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to put some negativity in this fight. But the way boxing is moving right now, that seems like it's the scorecard of the year. That's every judge's favorite scorecard, 117 to 111. That's where we begin, 116, 111, 116, 110. One of those judges is going to have it really wide. All right. EP says Harlem, Mom, Usyk by split decision. Okay. Got you. Some few say that Usyk hasn't been doing just enough to win the fight in heavyweight, but then will step up in an occasion in a big fight. Yeah, I mean, listen, I say that a lot. I think fighters fight on a level of their opposition. I don't think he was taking it easy against Chisora, though. I think he took it easy against Witherspoon, because he was inactive at that time. He was out for a bit. He had an injury, and they were trying to secure a fight for him. Witherspoon was a last-minute replacement, and he got the rounds that he needed. Chisora fight was not a tune-up fight, though. It was not a tune-up fight. He had a fight in that fight. He took a lot of shots too in that fight. All right, Usyk had to put in effort to win that. I know people weren't impressed with the performance, but he had to put in effort to fight in there. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to take anything away from him. All right. Seth Mitchell, KO, Witherspoon, 3 rounds. Well, you know what? Usyk is not a knockout artist. That's the thing. He's not. Adonis Stevenson knocked out Tony Bellevue earlier than Usyk did. You know, I know it was a lower weight division, but you know, Stevenson was a knockout artist for real. So it made sense. You get me? Like Usyk, if you go and look at his resume, you gonna find guys in there that he beat that other guys look better against. Not many, but there's guys there. You know. Well, I'm not judging on that. You know, Glowacki, he knocked out, well, that was 5 years ago. Glowacki was a much better cruiser at the time. Glowacki was undefeated at the time. I don't want to compare Glowacki's performance against Usyk in 2016 to Lawrence Okolie's win over him earlier this year. You know, I just think that's unfair. You know, Usyk is not a KO artist. He can stop you, absolutely, but he's not a KO artist. You know, there's going to be guys that have better wins or better finishes than him. You know, Usyk can get clipped coming in. Needs to stay away from the right hand. Think the hand speed will play a factor. AJ can't stay inactive early rounds. Interesting. He's at his lightest for this fight. Well, he's not at his lightest. He's been coming in at 240. I think he came in at 240 against Ruiz, and he's been in his 230s earlier as a pro. So you know he's been lighter. You know, this is not his lightest, but he's around where he needs to be. So yeah. Jorge asked me Conor Ben versus Ortiz. So if we're talking about Virgil Ortiz, I got Virgil Ortiz. For sure. But I like Conor Ben though. I just don't think he's on Ortiz or Boots level yet. I think those guys at a very elite level as far as like up and coming guys. I think Conor Ben, I just want to see a little bit more, you know. That's how I feel. Yeah, but trying to think, is there anything else? Any other thing we want to talk about before I check out, man? I'm not gonna be didn't want to jump on too long. Just wanted to check in with you guys before the fight, see what you guys were talking about. You know, I think everything has really been addressed. All we need is the fight at this point. You know, hopefully it's just a good fight. Hopefully the judges do the right thing if it does go to a decision. Hopefully there's no bad cuts or anything. Responding to the person that said something about the right hand of AJ's. Well, I mean, that's what he needs to be worried about, but that's what happens as far as, you know, your orthodox fighting against a southpaw. I mean, the right hand is, you know, the right and a left. You know, AJ's right hand is going to be targeting Usyk's face. Usyk's left hand is going to be targeting AJ's face. I mean, that's how the fight goes. You know, let's see who's going to do better. You know, I think they're both going to be feinting. They're both going to be probing. You know, they're both going to be doing things to throw off the other fighter, try to throw off the timing of the other fighter, you know, just doing different things. I think Usyk is better at doing different things. You know, I don't think AJ has fought a guy that moves around as much as Usyk, moves around, changing directions, you know, probing, feinting. He's fight guys that does it like this guy, Pulev, does a lot of feinting, you know. Klitschko did a lot of feinting, you know. But, you know, Usyk does a lot of things at once, you know, simultaneously. So it's going to be a good learning experience for AJ, you know. I wouldn't even be surprised. Like, I think AJ needs to start off fast, but I also feel like, you know, AJ needs to study him too. You know, I know we're talking about Usyk, studying him and all that. Usyk is slower in the beginning. He needs to study his opponent. But later, Kevin, take care. Thank you for jumping in. But we also got to understand that AJ is very cerebral too, and he's going to be studying his opponent as the rounds go on as well. You know, do I think Ryan will KO JoJo? I don't really think so. I can see Ryan winning the fight, but I'm not expecting a KO. But it's possible. It's possible. Who else is on the card? You got Callum Smith on the card. You got Lawrence Okolie on that card. Who else you got on there? Let me see. Let me check it out. Let me pull it up. Well, I got you on here. Then you got Ricky Hatton's son is on there as well. You got Florian Marcoux is going to be fighting. That's pretty much it, at least as far as people I'm familiar with. All right. Yeah. Usyk movement should be similar to the Chisora fight. Yeah, I don't think he needs to move as much because Chisora was charging in, you know, and Chisora is changing stances a lot in that fight too. He's switching as a southpaw a lot and throwing a lot of shots. He was just switching lefty righty a lot. You know, he was doing a whole lot of stuff just to throw off Usyk, and it was working at times. It's just that he kind of gets gassed out, you know. And I think the problem with a lot of fighters with Usyk is that in order to pick up the wins early, they burn themselves out, you know. And I think that's what happens. In order to just fight at the same pace and the same level as Usyk, just to keep up, they have to fight out like very hard early, which even Breedis was doing. Just couldn't maintain it. I haven't seen Usyk lose in the second half of a fight. I don't remember watching him losing or getting down on points later. You know, I think Usyk might start a little slow, but I think Usyk normally picks it up. So if the fight is going past 6-7 rounds, at that point, Usyk is already, he got you all figured out. You know, so I think AJ kind of needs to start off pretty aggressive. But he also needs to, you know, maintain that stamina, you know, and fight strong later. He needs to fight on a high level later. This is one of those fights where you can't make too many mistakes. You got to come in with a good game plan, and you have to have so many different game plans after. You need a plan A, B, C, and D. Both fighters do, because, like, again, I believe both fighters will adjust at some point. They'll be forced to adjust. Whatever they're doing that's working, it's not going to work for the rest of the fight. So even if AJ is coming out successful, all right, and he's keeping Usyk out of range, and he's landing a lot of jabs, and he's landing some straight right hands. He's landing some nice counters, timing Usyk. Whatever he's doing, I don't think it's going to work the entire fight. I think at some point, Usyk is going to adjust to whatever AJ is doing, and AJ is going to have to adjust to whatever Usyk does to adjust to him. And it could be one of those back and forth things, you know? So I don't think one strategy is going to win for either fighter, you know? Just my opinion. Now, if AJ catches him early and ends up stopping him, then, I mean, that's also a possibility. There's a lot of people that think that's going to happen. They think AJ is going to stop him. You know, I've read some of those comments. They think AJ is going to clip him early. And when I say early, I don't mean like first round, but I mean like within the first 4 or 5 rounds. People have been reading those kind of comments, you know? So that's also a possibility. I mean, AJ is a big puncher, you know, and Usyk hasn't been hit by a guy that punches like AJ, you know? Yeah, very good fight. Very good fight. I'm glad to see the excitement. I love the energy of the fans, and I can't wait, you know, to see it tomorrow and see the outcome so we can move on and talk about what to look forward to later in the future with this division. All right, so listen, I'm checking out, man. I'm tired. I had a long day, but I'll be here tomorrow, man. I can't wait to cover the fight and hang out and kick it with you guys like we normally do. All right, but I'm gonna check out, man. I'm not gonna stay on late. Thanks again. Make sure you hit that thumbs up for me on your way out. Share the video as well. Subscribe if you're new. And I will be here covering the fight live tomorrow. Definitely checking out. Now, hopefully I could be on here before 2, but whenever I could, I will definitely post up the video and jump on as soon as I get back home. All right. Have a good night and be safe out there.